celebrating the power of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Erick Baker, Part 1.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill, and these are great stories about great people whose lives prove possibility. First time that I met you, saw you, heard you, we have a mutual friend, the wild man, Travis Wyrick, one of the greatest producers in America, though. And he had been telling me about you, and then I heard some of your music. And I heard you, but then I felt you more than I heard you.
Thank you.
Right? As an artist,
absolutely, man, absolutely.
I felt you. I don't even remember what the song was, but I remember what the feeling was, right? Where does that start in your life? Because you didn't start out to be a musician, if my notes are right.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I say that rather than technical ability and training, I'm self-taught. Never had voice lessons, but passion is what I did have or do have. And for me, it's all about feeling. When people ask me, you know, tips on being a singer-songwriter, it's like, make me believe you. And for me, the songs that I write are real, and I feel them. So
when did you start singing?
My sister did beauty pageants, and her talent was singing, and that's I didn't, you know. We're not really a musical family, but she did Tina Turner's version of Proud Mary.
Wow.
And I can remember Swing Sweet Chariot Stop and Let Me Ride. You know, at the end she goes into Swing Sweet Chariot. And I can just remember singing along with her. That, you know, a cassette tape back then. And it wasn't that, you know, people immediately stopped and were like, whoa, that guy can sing. It just, that's the first time where I was like, man, I really enjoy this. I feel this. You know, this makes me move. This makes me smile. And
so how old were you then?
That would have been not even in high school. Probably junior high.
So 10, 11,
yeah,
12.
going in high school. And, you know, I never thought I was, I mean, singing, being a singer-songwriter, none of that was in the cards. I mean, I went to college, my degree is in public relations. And even when I graduated from UT here with a degree in public relations, it's still, music was not, you know, what I was gonna do with my life.
When did it become the thing?
May 9th, 2007.
That is a very specific answer.
It is.
What happened on May the 9th?
May 9th, 2007, I got the opportunity to open up for John Legend at the Tennessee Theater. And I was in graduate school. I went back to school at the time. Now, after I graduated college, I taught myself how to play guitar, picked up the guitar, and, you know, my mom and dad, bless their hearts, they're like, okay, you know, we put you through school, and now what are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I think I'm gonna learn how to play guitar. And they're like, oh my Lord, you know what? But, you know, from 2001, when I graduated, to 2007, I slowly started learning more songs, started with learning the songs that I loved. And then I started playing in bars around town, and, you know, started out just playing on people's front porches, and people were like, man, you know, you're pretty good. And I was playing open mic night, and a guy named Ted Heinig, who works for AC Entertainment here in town, he heard me playing and came up to me and was like, hey, what are you doing in a few weeks? And I was like, you know, I'm in school, I'm, you know, just hanging out. And he was like, well, would you want to open up for John Legend at the Tennessee Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, I don't know. I gotta check my, you know, we'll see.
I'll have my
You have a card? Give me your card,
yeah.
And I say, you know, I played 6 songs that night. I played for 30 minutes. And those 6 songs, those 30 minutes changed my life. Because the guy that walked on that stage, you know, was just a guy in graduate school. I was going to be an English teacher like my mom, and music was just something that is always going to be a part of my life. Yeah, but wasn't going to be the thing. But I went from playing to 15 people who could care less to 1,500 who were really listening and really into it. And that was just the moment that it was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to there's something, there could be something here. There could be some possibility.
Yeah, that's what this show is about.
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll talk more about that in a moment. This is Erick Baker. You will hear his music. This is Anything is Possible.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
I'm not the most observant person, but I came home one day to an empty house and a note on the table that it said, "I will not be sorry for the choice that you made."
Erick Baker is a singer-songwriter and a possibility person. Thank you for being on Anything is Possible.
Thank you, man.
Play me a song.
All right, you got it. It's one thing I think I can do. I'm not the best at answering questions, but what song, what do you want to hear?
The song you want me to hear, the song that sets up this project. You've got a great new project, Dear Amanda. This is the album cover right here, or the CD cover. I'm old school. We've got some vinyl here. And I want to hear your heart.
Okay.
So which song best displays that?
It's a song called You Get What You Give. And I kind of say it's the flagship of this record, because now, you know, earlier we were talking about the beginnings, and now, you know, we fast forward and years down the road, almost 10 years down the road. And what I've discovered is that I'm a pretty selfish person as I look back. And I look back, you know, I mean, I think we all are to some degree. But the song's called You Get What You Give. And it's so easy to say that, you know, and I've heard it 1,000 times, that saying. But it really didn't mean anything to me until recently, when, you know, we were talking about all that time on the road, and that I was giving, so I thought. You know, I was out on the road working, playing all these shows, giving, so I thought, to my family, you know, that it was for my family. But really, they were the ones suffering the most. And, you know, I got home and I couldn't understand why, you know, why I wasn't being greeted with a parade outside my door or whatever. But it was because I wasn't giving to my relationships. And, you know, you give CRAP to, I've got a 6-year-old daughter, so I feel, you know, you give CRAP to a relationship, you're not gonna get gold back. So this was me looking in the mirror saying, hey, it's, you know, you've given me so much, so now it's my turn to give something back to you.
I like to hear it.
All right. It's been a long time since I got lost in your eyes. It's been a long time since you felt what you needed to. I wanna take this slow. Let's turn off the lights. I wanna taste your lips like a glass of wine. It's been a long time, been a long time. You give what you give in this life, so let me give all I've got tonight. Hand in hand, heart to heart, reaching out into the dark. Don't think about tomorrow, just be here now. Let love lay us down. I wanna take this slow. Let's turn off the lights. I wanna taste your lips like a glass of wine. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. You give what you give in this life, so let me give all Yeah, you give what you give in this life. So let's give all we've got tonight. Let the world pass by, we don't need it. Honey, let's stop time and just breathe in. Let the world pass by, we don't need it. Honey, let's stop time tonight. Tonight, oh, let's stop time tonight. Tonight, tonight. 'Cause I need you. And honey, I need to be needed by you. I need you. And I need to be needed by you. I know I've been selfish, I know I let you down. I know all that you wanted was for me to be around. I know it's been a long time since you've gotten what you need. It's your turn to get something, 'cause you've given me everything. It's your turn to get something from me. I'm reaching out into the dark. Yeah, you give what you give. You give what you give. So let me give all I got tonight.
Yeah, I didn't even want to like rush through that moment, because I know that comes from such a real place.
Yeah.
And I know that's a song written to a real person,
Yeah.
about a real experience.
Yeah.
And the energy of it feels like a redemption song.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were trying to save a relationship.
Absolutely, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, second chances, you know. I mean, that's, well, I mean, what happened was
Like when you were singing that just then,
yeah,
you were feeling it all over again.
yeah, oh, yeah,
Like, because I've seen you perform, and I know you perform passionately.
yeah,
But there was a point where there was a shift in that performance where phone calls, text messages, slam doors, phone call, please call me back.
yeah.
I'm coming home. I'm gonna skip this performance. I don't even know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's
No,
what
that's it. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good scenario. I mean, truly what happened the end of 2013, I was doing about 200 shows a year on the road and was just gone. I just wasn't there. And, you know, in the song it says, I know I've been selfish. I know I let you down. I know all that you wanted was for me to be around. And that was the whole thing. I just wasn't around. And I'm not the most observant person, but I came home one day to an empty house and a note on the table that it said, I will not be sorry for the choice that you made. And my wife's wedding ring sitting next to it. So again, I'm not the most observant person, but I was like, hey, I think something's wrong. And so my life shifted. You know, I mean, my career was going great. I mean, I was playing all over the world and having all these amazing experiences. but also at home, you know, inside my house, my daughter Annabelle was growing up, and I was missing it. And my wife, you know, we were growing apart. And the way I describe it is that every step forward in my career was a step away from my family. So at the end of 2013, I made the decision to refocus and to give to my family. And I mean, you get what you give. It's so true. Because now I'm getting, you know, it's now the redemption, you know.
That's what it feels like, a redemption song. In fact, you could take this and use it as the most grand spiritual metaphor too. It's the same thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll hear more from Erick Baker. This is Anything Is Possible, because it is.
Coming up.
People have really connected with that honesty, and it's an honesty that I try and put in every song, a transparency.
Welcome back to Anything Is Possible, and that was a powerful performance by Erick Baker. Thank you for being with us. Singer-songwriter, husband-father. Husband-father now, singer-songwriter.
That's right. That's right.
Get the order of
the
service
more important part first, exactly.
So here's the thing. Having been around an artist and being an artist, there's something that happens when you're with an audience, right? And you receive the applause of an audience. It is one of the most addictive drugs on the planet. And that drug is affirmation.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the kind of affirmation that can be very deceptive, because it's affirmation earned from people seeing this much of you. They don't see all of this. They've got a favorite part of you. It's a favorite song or performance or whatever, and all of their adulation is focused into that piece of who you are. Right?
Right.
But you get credit for the whole. They're in love with a piece of you. They're in love with your art, or they're in love with your pain, or they're in love with something that whatever it is you do does for them. But they don't see you on the tour bus.
Oh, yeah.
They don't see you at home. So you go out on stage, and no matter what has happened, you can be anywhere in the world, and all of a sudden, you're affirmed. And that affirmation is a drug. But then you go home to the people who have a wide-angle lens.
The widest, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And they know that music is that much of what you do, and they live with the rest of who you are, right? And I can see how that would just be one of those things, because we all want to feel that affirmation. So you said you were awakened to your selfishness. Take us through a little bit of that journey.
Well, I mean, the journey of self-discovery first starts with really looking in the mirror. And
what'd you see?
Well, I mean, I saw a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to sound like I was just this, you know, awful person, or, but I saw a lot of things that I liked, and like, man, you know, hard worker and all that. But also just a lot of aspects that I neglected. And like I said, you know, the people that I was working hardest for were the ones suffering the most.
Right.
And it's kind of like, how have I missed this? How have I let this get the way that it is?
How did you miss it, though?
Well, because it's like, I write a lot of love songs, and yet somehow I'd not given that love to my wife, you know, and I, before making this record, I made a video where I kind of shared this story of almost losing, you know, my wife, and kind of, you know, having focused on, or the journey of refocusing on my family.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it's all about, and how difficult that is, you know, to when you have cameras on you, and then you say these things out loud, and you're like, man, you know, it becomes very real. But people have really connected with that honesty, and it's an honesty that I try and put in every song, a transparency. And I mean, you know, we kind of have the Facebook aspect of ourselves.
Right.
That's the very
my perfect
best.
kids, my perfect life,
Totally,
my perfect
totally,
whatever.
yeah. You know, my wife and I are going out on a date night, blah blah blah. Well, you know, when I removed that, it instantly was like, man, it connected to people.
I think as long as we are pretending, we don't have an opportunity to get better because we're not acknowledging what needs to improve.
Right.
And I think sometimes we as artists have the opportunity to be transparent in a very lyrical, spiritual way that allows people a gateway into their own transparency. So the transparency is not there just to say that I'm real. It really is there to open a gateway for other people to be real so that out of the realness they can get better. Does that? So I feel you. And I think as we get to part 2 of our conversation, there will be a part 2. This is Erick Baker. I want to kind of unpack that because this transparency that we felt in that performance and that people will experience in this project entitled Dear Amanda, it has a point and a purpose, right? It is not transparency as tradecraft.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
You know,
for sure.
we'll pick it up in part 2. This is Erick Baker. You're watching Anything is Possible.